Hey guys, this is Stephanie Farron, the media specialist at David W. Butler High School, and I'm going to do a quick video tutorial to share out about how to differentiate assignments in Canvas. Specifically, this is related to senior coursework for remediation to get a passing grade versus underclassmen work if you have a mixed class of students. So it's actually beneficial for all students, so I'm going to show you in a course. So for purposes of demonstrating this, I'm going to be in my tech course, and I'm going to give you some directions of how to do that. So there's a couple of things you can do. The simple and easiest one, if you only have a few seniors in your class, is to go to the assignments or quizzes that they have missed or they scored a low grade on, and then you'll need to just simply edit those assignments to allow additional attempts. So I could come into, say, this first assignment for me and then edit it. I will need to change any of the directions. For example, I might want to change my title from November 2019, since we're now in April 2020, changing my directions for my submissions, change the points or the point values or anything that I need to change for this. And then when I come down here to assign to, and instead of assigning to everyone, you notice that you can assign it to any group in your class. You also can assign it to individuals. So then I could simply click the small group of individuals that I want to assign it to, only they would see the assignment. It will still be important to put a due date on there. We discussed this with a couple senior teachers this morning in a meet. Even though we don't have concrete directions yet, we want to kind of go ahead and get this done for them. So we had suggested maybe putting a due date like right before spring break or right after spring break, so that way they have an absolute deadline for some assignments, so we can go ahead and see they're making progress, they're working on this, so that when we get more feedback from the district, we know exactly how to do that. And so that's how you do that if you want to just change individual assignments. If you're going to change quizzes, and unfortunately I just don't have a quiz in this class, remember you can do the exact same thing. You're going to need to give additional attempts to those users. You might need to unlock it and then maybe change your grading policy to keep the highest score if you want to replace scores. So that's how that would work. Quizzes are a little different because you have them assigned to all groups. So in a few minutes, I might pop back through into a different class so you can see a quiz. If you have a large group of seniors and you want to assign a lot of work to them, and I mean a predominant like group, we can set up groups in your class. So I'm going to go through and show you how to do that. It's a little more time consuming. Okay, so you would come into your people, and then these are your class members, and then you would click the plus sign to create a group set. Now, traditionally, a group set in Canvas is literally like what you would do in good old-fashioned schooling if we were face-to-face. Like you would put the kids in groups of 4, and that group of 4 would have a collaborative space inside a Canvas, hint, hint, for them to work. So creating this does give a collaborative space for them to work, just so you know, but at the same time, it also allows a teacher to assign groups work. So I don't recommend this if you only have 1 or 2 seniors involved, but if you have a large group, then I would suggest setting this up. So this group name is actually not what you want to call it. So maybe I want to call it differentiation. This first title is the title that you as a teacher sees, not what the students see. I don't want students to self-assign in a group. I'm going to create them manually. So I click save. So this is why I'm telling you this. It creates it separate from everyone as a tab, but it really doesn't do anything else. So now I click this lighter gray plus sign for a group. So I'm going to make one group name and I'll call them seniors, and I will make another group name and I might call them underclassmen. You may not need to do 2 groups. You may only need to do your senior group. It just depends on if you need both. So for each group, then I simply can click the plus sign to add group members into the group that I want them to go into. Okay, so I can add a few group members into it. I can add a few group members over here too. Now, if I'm going to add group members, that's all well and good. But if I'm going to go back and create assignments for my groups, they have to be new assignments, not assignments that we've already previously graded. So how would I do that? Well, I'm going to need to import or export some settings. Either if you have your coursework in a sandbox from a previous course, you can copy it from there. In my case, because I have admin access, I'm going to have to do a little bit of front work. I've actually already copied this course, so I'm going to import just those assignments that I want to duplicate into my class. Now, a couple things about duplicating content. One, the content can't have the same name. It's got to be changed slightly once you get it in there. And the reason being that you can't assign it to a group simply by using a previous assignment is because that assignment's already been graded. So in my case, because mine's slightly different from yours, I'm going to import a Canvas course package. I'll choose my file. I'm going to choose it from my downloads. So give me just a minute to track through this. And then I don't want all content. I want to specify my content. I want to adjust my due dates and remove them. Always a good rule of thumb for everybody. And I'd simply click import. I already have one right here. It's an old one, but I'm going to go from there. So I can select my content. For each of them, I can go in. So in this case, I probably want to focus on assignments and quizzes. So I'm going to open my arrow. It will give me all my assignments, and they may be differentiated. And I might just want to click the ones that I want to import. Okay, in this case, I'm only going to do like one or two because I'm just showing you guys and I'll have to delete this off. So sample assignment, how to make a button. So once I get the assignments I want in, I'll import the content. It may take a minute. It may not. Depends on when you're doing this in Canvas. Remember, in the middle of the day. And in general, we're definitely working Canvas and the internet a lot harder than we used to. All right, so once they're there, they're going to automatically populate into my assignments. So I can either watch my bar or I can come into my assignments. When I have a new assignment, I'm actually not going to wait for it. I'm going to show you in an old one. I won't be able to do everything, but when I have an assignment and I have uploaded it, if I'm uploading this exact same name, just so you know, I need to change this name so that it's not weird. It is always the first 20 characters that Canvas is following and changing the names for so it doesn't confuse itself. So I might suggest changing it simply to seniors. Again, no one in your class is going to see this but you and whoever you assign it to. So it doesn't really matter, but you are going to have to slightly change the name so that Canvas doesn't get confused. You can't have two assignments with the exact same name or two quizzes with the exact same name. All right. When I follow and go down my page, you can change your point value, all of that. The important thing is when it gets to this group assignment button, I want to check that. And right now, because this is a previous assignment, that's how I know that I can't do this because it is not an assignment I can use. I've already used it once. It says people have already submitted the work. If I do this, then once I click it, it'll ask me which group to assign it to, and then I simply assign it to my group, which will be in there, and it will say seniors or underclassmen. Put a date on it, and you're good to go. So that's how you would assign it so that not everyone in the class would see it, only those members of the group, and that would include for quizzes or assignments. And I would only do this if you have more than one or two students involved. While I was going through that with a previous assignment, I now have an assignment in my course that I've uploaded. I'm editing the assignment. So again, like I said, if it's a previous assignment that I had in my course, I would simply change the name at the front so it would definitely be different. When I come down in that assignment now, because it has not been assigned to anyone before, I can say this is a group assignment. I want to assign grades for each individual in my group, not for a group grade. And then I'm going to set my group category. It's my differentiation category. And then I want to come down here and I want to assign it to that group. So again, probably when I did this, I only wanted to put my seniors in and not my underclassmen. So that way, when I do my differentiation category, only my seniors would see it, not everyone else in the group. I wouldn't need to put my underclassmen in. They also can pop up down here in groups, so then I can assign it to my seniors. So if I wanted to do that and have that differentiation category for both seniors and underclassmen, then once I do a group assignment like this, I could assign it and set it both to seniors or to upper class or underclassmen. Again, I want to make sure that I'm being very specific about my due dates. I want to make sure my groups are correct. And you could only do this group assignment stuff to a new assignment, not a previously assigned assignment. So if you want to use previous assignments, you're going to need to put them back in your class, slightly change the name so that it's a new assignment. Yes, it clutters up your course, but that's where we're at. So that is how you would do it if you're going to do it by groups. The last way I'll show you, and it's probably the most complicated way, is mastery paths. Mastery path is a path, kind of like a pick your own path adventure book, where you go to page 3 if you're a senior, you go to page 5 if you're a junior. It typically works best if you set it off of a quiz. So what we might do is create a quiz, and that quiz would say, maybe I'll call it differentiate. Um, Inside that quiz, I put a due date. I'd only ask one question. My question would be multiple choice. Who are you? And I'm not even sure if that would be the correct answer. Basically, what you want to do is you want to get the kids to get, do you need remediation? Are you a senior? Yes or no? So why am I doing this? If I make everybody take the quiz and ask some type of question like this, it's going to pull them into 2 different paths, okay? And I choose those paths, okay? So I'm going to save this. And then once I save this quiz, I'm going to edit it again. And on this edit page, which you guys are really familiar with, you probably just don't pay attention to this last box. We've got the questions, we got the details, and we have this mastery paths, okay? So there's a twofold process to mastery paths. The first one is we need to tell them what we get. So if they get 1 point, so we don't want 1 point, then we're going to give them a bunch of other assignments. So I'm going to pop a few up here and add the items. And then instead of saying and, I'm going to say and because I want them to do all 3 of the assignments. So basically, if they tell me they're a senior and they say yes, then they're going to get these 3 assignments. If they say no, they don't get the 3 assignments. See how this works? It really works well if you practice this in student view and you practice taking the quiz. But, and it's a big one, not only do I have to do this and click save and publish, but then I need to go to each of the assignments and I need to assign each of these assignments to a mastery path. So that way it knows that if the kid clicks the quiz and says, yes, I need the work will appear only to that student and it would only be there because of the mastery path. So I'm going to show you real quickly how to do that, and I will attach the documentation to this video and to the handout. So I would pull up the assignment and then edit it. From editing the assignments, when I get down here and I'm assigning it to everyone, one of the options I can assign it to is the mastery path. The mastery path is going to be selected based on what they answer on that quiz, and then it would send them here. So it's a little bit more convoluted to do a mastery path, and if you only have a few students, I would not go that way. In fact, if you have a few students, I would just simply add them to the assignment. But you've got to make each of the assignments that you put in your mastery path assigned to the mastery path, change the dates, and then make sure that when they take that quiz, it will filter them through that path. So again, that's the end of this video, your 3 choices. I'm going to attach the documentation. And if you have questions, then meet Amy or I in our Google Meet office hours, and we'll gladly walk through some scenarios and help you out. All right.